Welcome to the podcast. I'm Tim Rodriguez, the Chief Operating Officer for BSK Associates Geoprofessional Division, and today I'm here with Santiago Espinoza, PE.
No, thank you.
And please take a moment, introduce yourself, and give us a little background for you.
Yeah, so my name is Santiago Espinoza, and I am the Principal Construction Services Manager for the Fresno and Bakersfield offices.
Yeah, and that's a position you've kind of taken in the last, we'll just say roughly a little more than 6 months, I think. Somewhere in that range. So
pretty recent.
Some recent. This is kind of a theme where my first question is going to be tied to a theme I've been using for a couple of our recent kind of kickoff interviews, and that's really about where we're heading in 2026 and kind of this past year carrying on into the new year and where your perspective is on things moving forward. So maybe give me a couple of thoughts on really where your mind is at here as we're in the start of 2026 and what your big major focus points are, I guess.
Focus points for 2026. It's been a great challenge for BSK to put these new operations into place, systems into place, programs to assist us to excel and be successful. So 2026, we need to put those in action and create better relationships with clients and industry in general. I think that's one of the key points.
Yeah, we've been really focused as an organization on trying to promote business development and kind of that seller doer mentality with our project management team and really the networking and to that point, like you mentioned, client relationship development and cultivating as a focus. And that kind of takes me to, leads in well to one of the additions we're anticipating taking keys to here soon, which is our Visalia office location. And BSK historically has here in different periods of time maintained an office in Visalia, hasn't had one formally in a short amount of time now, but we're re-entering into that time frame. That's a big focus for you. And so, how are you feeling about that here as we get ready to have the keys handed over to us?
It feels really good. It feels like a great opportunity. That's on the table for us, for BSK. Because now we're being given the tools, right? We're giving the tools through these programs, like I was talking about, education, training. Now with this addition of an office, that's just another tool for us to use to create, great service to our communities, our clients. And that's the big push for 2026 is just creating those relationships, being local, being present, and, driving revenue and just success for BSK.
Yeah. So that's all, those are all really great, I guess, goals and targets for the year. That doesn't come without challenges, too. Yes. And so what do you see as the real challenges you're going to be faced with or your groups will be faced with here this year?
Challenges for us has always been, just developing our staff to get more certifications. We always push for them to get more training and certifications, but we try to find that there's always some reason why it can't be done. So that's where we kind of have to be creative and assist in that part of it for our staff. The industry is changing. DSA is about to, change the requirements for simple soils compaction testing is going to require an ICC soils inspector. Mm-hmm. That little change could be a significant, change in workforce because now we can't just find somebody to do the compaction testing that has a nuclear gauge safety train. Now they actually have to be an ICC certified soil special inspector. So that could be a big, factor. But again, that's just one aspect of it. The other part that's going to be challenging for 2026, I think, is with this economy kind of having a slight downturn and clients are kind of in the same boat. So we're kind of in this together. So building those strong relationships and providing maybe some cost savings or being effective, is probably going to be one of the biggest challenges for us to be successful.
Yeah. I think, that's really the goal of all of this that we're talking about is trying to figure out how to develop that value added pitch to our clients. It's not always the lowest price, or especially in our philosophy of proposing. a big advocate for as realistic a budget as we can create.
Right.
For everybody's, there's no reason to smoke screen or do anything like that. It's more of nobody wants surprises, I guess. And so to the degree we can be real and minimize those things with our clients, I think that's a really good effort we should continue to try to make. But I totally understand what you're saying. Is like everybody, budgets are only so big, and so
right.
you gotta help be partners, business partners with everybody.
Right.
So on the staffing and certification topic, there's an ever-changing situation, and I know I've seen the same challenges with encouraging staff to further develop themselves over the years. I think the thing to share with that is maybe what our intentions are as far as compensation on that front too. And
right.
So, I know you've been part of this. We have had some recent discussions regarding some new hires, but what are your thoughts as regard to our compensation philosophy for our technical staff in the field? I mean, anything you would share with folks that are maybe aspiring to a new career or, in this career and looking to move to another firm?
Yeah, I mean, this career path, in as far as being a geoprofessional is amazing. The ceiling is there is no ceiling. It's kind of limitless, and it's all self-driven motivation to how high you want to achieve. So here at BSK, we've driven, higher pay bands and pay rates to our employees. But at the same time, that comes with certain number of years of experience that is tied to certifications, that is tied to education, bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctorate, professional certifications, being a licensed civil engineer, geotechnical engineer, geologist, certified geologist. So those career paths could take a lifetime to complete, right? But if you're really driven, you can get them done in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
And can compensate it pretty well.
It's interesting too, because I always love to ask people how they arrived at into this business, because it's a lot of what we do is not something people are very familiar with or even know occurs from
right.
When you're talking construction materials testing and inspection services, it's
right.
Kind of a world that I don't know that everybody knows. It takes place with construction, whether it be structures or public transportation, roadways, anything. There's some quality assurance that's going on there if it's not on top of quality control. So a whole nother podcast needed to explain the difference and go into the depths of that distinction. But I think what's interesting to me is how people have arrived at this business, and they all have a different path. And so, we're always looking for new people, and sometimes some of the best staff opportunities or additions we come across are people who maybe come from a different background or a different walk. And so if there was anything you were going to sort of speak to, share as a story or speak to somebody to encourage them to, if they're looking for another alternative, what would you say to them?
I would say that, you're going to make of what you want of it. And to a degree, being a geoprofessional, sometimes it's undiscovered. So you come in as a materials lab testing technician, but you know what? You really like materials testing. And then you get the opportunity to get your nuclear gauge license, go out in the field, you perform some nuclear gauge tests, and you realize you like the client interaction. You're good at document control. You're good at communication with contractors and architects and engineers, and all these aspects of your job become almost to a point where it's not even a job. It's just something that you like doing and love, on a daily basis.
Yeah,
it's really not even considered work to a certain degree if you enjoy the geoprofessional field, right?
Sure.
But it's very encouraging. Somebody who would think that likes the engineering sciences in general, I think would excel as a geoprofessional.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic.
Yeah, there's a lot of that we do that can be very, process based and just go through the, sort of the steps of doing different things. But you're right that the embracing the science behind all of what we're doing is really, I think, the value added piece and what will help stimulate you professionally in your own development, especially as you described. I mean, if you're able to bridge the understanding of what's going on in any kind of laboratory testing process along with what the application or value added to is to the field piece. I mean, you're connecting all the dots, and now you really paint a really nice picture for yourself of why we're doing everything we're doing and how it all comes together as a puzzle. So, yeah, that's really good.
Thank you.